Good morning, I'm Alex Stutzmann. I'm the Director for Parliamentary Committees in the European Parliament in the field of external policies, which means foreign affairs, trade, cooperation, security and defense, and human rights.
What are you going to talk about in today's conference?
Well, obviously, coming from the European Parliament, I will try to give the point of view from the European Parliament on the whole issue of disinformation, fake news, foreign interference in the way the EU is trying to drive its foreign policy, but also make its own policy making at home.
How do you think fake news will influence international politics, international relations, and the next European elections?
Well, obviously fake news do influence quite a lot on a daily basis policy making, whether this is within the EU in terms of putting at risk the credibility of the EU with its own citizen, the way it's presented through fake images and a variety of technological means and tools that allow others to basically disrupt our own democratic process, but also the way foreign policy is conducted. I mean, look at what's going on in the eastern neighborhood of the European Union, but also in the southern neighborhood. And I think these are topics that we will tackle in the conference today, whether this is the threat of the Russian propaganda or the so-called pro-Kremlin driven disinformation, or also in the south with a less present but nevertheless quite important ISIS-driven propaganda and disinformation.
What are, in your opinion, the possible solutions to this problem?
First of all, I guess it's awareness raising, which has happened a lot over the last 3 years already. If we look back where we were back in 2015, when the whole strategy of the European Union in this respect was launched for the first time. So awareness raising at the level of governments, at the level of EU institutions, of member states, but also at the level of citizens more and more. Hence, education is important. I think that's why it's also important that universities tackle this issue, because if there's no coordinated approach between the media, the political authorities, those who educate the future generations of citizens, the social platforms, of course, that includes also businesses and social media at large. I mean, all these actors have basically to coordinate their action, strengthen their coordination in order to be able to tackle what is on the other side, a very organized and very systematic, using artificial intelligence and the like, systematic strategy to basically fragilize and undermine our democratic principles and values.